Why do so many movies and shows today look fantastic but feel completely forgettable? Because too many screenplays are written to be read, not performed. Just because a screenplay is enjoyable to read does not mean it will become an enjoyable movie. Reading a script and experiencing a movie are two different things. A screenplay can absolutely be a pleasurable read, but once pleasing the reader becomes the priority, the screenplay's real purpose starts slipping into the background, and the show or movie may look great, but it lacks that magical element to make it memorable, an increasing hallmark of today's shows and movies. What went wrong? In past decades, a script reader wasn't just a person who could read. The talented ones were visionaries who could see a movie while reading a dry, highly technical document. Today, script readers and other industry types are often less visionary and more dependent on literary writing than in previous decades. They need more things spelled out and spoon-fed to them in the way you often find in prose. They also increasingly demand that the experience of reading the script always be enjoyable, even though script reading can be a difficult job that, like many other jobs, may be inherently unenjoyable at times. As a result, screenwriters have shifted their writing style towards spoon-feeding and jumping through hoops to include more on-the-nose prose designed to keep the reader entertained. The screenplay becomes less about helping artists construct a great movie and more about making sure one solitary reader has a pleasant afternoon. On average, I believe this has contributed to a decline in the quality of movies and television compared with past decades, when screenplays were written more as dramatic blueprints for making a good show or movie. There will always be exceptions. Some writers naturally use prose beautifully in screenplays, and again, there is nothing wrong with a script being enjoyable to read. The problem begins when reader enjoyment becomes the measuring stick for whether the screenplay is working. By not spelling everything out, a screenplay leaves room for other artists to be inspired and reach heights the original writer may not have imagined. That quality was more prevalent in the past and is increasingly missing from today's shows and movies. Screenplays are losing their purpose as documents meant to inspire actors, directors, cinematographers, designers, editors, composers, and other craftspeople. Instead, they are being shaped to entertain a reader who may lack the vision necessary to see the potential of a movie or television show, written to be performed rather than simply read. When there is an overemphasis on pleasing the reader, the logic begins to break down. Why not just write the entire story in prose? What is the point of using a purpose-built dramatic format if readers no longer possess the vision necessary to translate that format into a movie experience in their minds? Some people argue that the early version of a script is only a reading draft. Its job is to entertain the reader, get selected, and move the project forward. Later, they say, the writer will transform it into a shooting draft that is more useful for production. That sounds logical in theory. In practice, production entities are trying to pay writers for fewer and fewer drafts. Producers are barely willing to pay for a second writing step, let alone an additional step devoted to turning a reader-focused script into an executable dramatic blueprint. And many producers may not even understand what is missing. They have become accustomed to judging scripts by how enjoyable they are to read. So if a writer later removes the entertaining but unfilmable prose and reshapes the script toward production, those same producers may ask why the writer took the fun out of it. They assume that because the script was fun to read, the finished movie will be fun to watch. That assumption is false. A pleasurable reading experience can be one quality of a good screenplay. It is not proof that the screenplay will produce a pleasurable viewing experience. Reading and watching are different experiences. More importantly, a movie is not simply watched into existence. It is performed, designed, photographed, recorded, edited, scored, and interpreted by many different artists. If the script is designed primarily around one reader's pleasure, the needs of all those other artists get pushed to the back. So the supposed transformation into a shooting draft may never adequately happen. The writers and producers continue asking, is this script fun to read? Throughout the rewriting process. Then the so-called shooting script becomes little more than the reader pleasure draft with scene numbers added. If no one is paying the writer to create the actual production-focused draft, then that work may never get done. The belief that the shooting draft will eventually become less focused on reading pleasure and more focused on constructing the movie is often a fallacy working writers tell themselves and others so they can keep functioning inside the system and keep the checks rolling in. Reading and writing drama, when done correctly, are inherently different from reading and writing prose. The word drama comes from the Greek word dran, meaning to do or to act. In this case, to perform, not simply to read and enjoy. That may sound like a minor distinction, but it can create a world of difference in the resulting dramatic work. Take an actor as one example. When prose spells out the complete emotionality of a scene, the actor reads the prescribed emotion, understands it, and then attempts to replicate or convey what was written. But in a screenplay that is not dependent on reader-pleasing prose, the actor still gains an understanding of the character and the scene. The difference is that the emotional expression has not been completely spelled out in literary terms. The actor must go find the expression that embodies the emotion. The actor is inspired to discover something rather than simply being told what to convey. The difference in the resulting performance can be night and day. The less prose-heavy version may be less entertaining for the script reader, but it may be much better at inspiring a powerful performance from the actor. So what matters more to the success of the movie? The reader enjoying the experience of reading the script, or the actor being inspired toward a stronger performance? The actor is only one example. The same basic principle applies to every craftsperson who relies on the screenplay to do their work. Why compromise the quality of all those people's contributions by tailoring the script to please the least experienced and least skilled person in the entire process? Instead of pandering to script readers, let readers learn to deal with a difficult job. They may have to earn the money they are paid by combing through unpleasant reads while developing the ability to become visionaries who can recognize a good movie or show without having every experience spoon-fed to them on the page. After all, very few people get paid just to have a fun, enjoyable time. This episode is brought to you by Darius Loves. It's a short story available on Amazon and Spotify. Check it out and leave a review.
Why this house been on the market so long?
It might have certain spiritual energies.
Spiritual what? Man, I'm out of here.
Darius, give it a chance.
I left something in the car.
I want this house. I need this house.
Darius Loves, a short story on Amazon, free with Kindle Unlimited.